I call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. To start the meeting, I'll now read the land acknowledgement. The Township of Adjala-Tosorontio is situated on the lands within Treaty 18, being the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people, including the Ojibwe, Adadwa, and Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. This land is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We acknowledge Indigenous people as stewards of the land, and we honor their resilience as well as their culture and our shared respect for the lands, plants, animals, and waterways which sustain us all. We recognize the injustices against Indigenous people and are mindful of the decisions of government impact our shared land and all the inhabitants. We commit to reconciliation as a journey, foster Indigenous cultural awareness and educational opportunities, establish respectful and healthy relations with Indigenous peoples, continue to steward the land and its inhabitants, and to cultivate an inclusive community for all. Are there any additions to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll go to item number 3, the meeting agenda for Monday, July 21st. The next part is the adoption of the agenda. The recommendation reads that the agenda of the Community Development and Event Committee meeting held on Monday, July 21st, 2025 be adopted as presented. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Cox, can I get a seconder, please? Chen, thank you. All those in favor? Carried. The next item on the agenda is disclosure of pecuniary interests. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interests? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, the meeting minutes from our June 23rd meeting. The recommendation reads that the minutes for the Community Development and Event Committee meeting held on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 be adopted as presented. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Cox, can I get a seconder, please? Shen, any other questions? All those in favor? Carried. Now we're going to move on to item number 6. That's regular business item. We are going to move to the Canada Day, our 2025 Canada Day event review and financials. Maybe we can first kind of discuss about how we thought the event went, things that went really well, maybe things that we would want to change or add to next year's event, possibly.
Yeah, through the chair, food is definitely one we could probably look at, because that was a big question throughout the night that I heard. And I know there's a lot of coordinating that would have to go into that, liability, I imagine. But like, I really think some sort of food vendor, maybe even at a small capacity, like hot dogs at the very least, like something small. They don't have to be like lined up with food trucks with all different kinds, but something actually like a few barbecues going, right? Hot dogs, hamburgers. That I think would be very beneficial to the celebration, considering you got lots of kids out there, full day, number of hours with a lot of young kids.
Hmm. I think it all flowed really well. Like, it was set up well. Everything was clearly marked and organized, and I felt like the way things organized, it helped to flow properly. You weren't running into different sections and whatnot. So I think the layout and up top, I don't know, like I can't speak to the parking as I wasn't down there, but I feel the layout up top really flowed well with the fire department, the vehicles, the kids event, and the freezies and the music. It seemed like everybody, and the games as well, it was all nicely spaced out.
Echo some comments there as well. I thought the layout was well. We'll have to confirm just again for the portable toilets, I'm not sure if we got as many because the financials show a bit less. So I want to confirm that we had enough. And if not, then we'll look at that for next year. Parking was well. We're going to make a few adjustments next year just to clean it up a wee bit. But we had capacity in our lot, and it seemed to flow a bit better than it did last year. So I think there's some more improvements so that we can get more cars in. We figured that there isn't the same amount of people here as last year, so I don't think there was any issues that way, and there was no incidents in the parking at all. So that was a good thing. And I might add, just because I have the floor at the moment, just to acknowledge my thanks to the committee members for their hard work and to staff, but also to our partners. We had the fire department out here. We also had Rosemont Fire Department out available, and then the OPP doing traffic control at the gate. And they also brought the auxiliary unit brought a cruiser up to, which seemed to really be another big hit for the kids and the parents and things like that. So just thanks to everyone involved in this 2025 Canada Day.
That was another thing of the amount of volunteers. We ended up having a lot more volunteers than it expected. So that was something that really helped. And it was great to have students involved helping too, which was really nice to help support at those events. Another thing I think that was really well received was the opening ceremonies, had the young talent, the performers. I think that was something that went over really well and was a nice change too. And just, it really brought a very positive vibe to begin our Canada Day event. Okay, so looking at our financials, we actually did quite well. We kept under budget, so that was excellent. So I see that we have some money available in the Canada Day budget, and then there's committee money as well. Maybe Deputy Clerk or Mayor, you could speak to like the difference between those and which ones. What's the difference between the committee and the Canada Day money?
Sure. So through you, Chair, the committee development event, committee events GL account is specific to events outside of Canada Day, whereas Canada Day specific events fall under that GL account.
Through the chair, are those transferable amounts, those two budgets? Can you transfer from the Canada Day one to the Community Development Events Committee budget?
Through you, Chair, to Councillor Cox, those amounts are not transferable. It's not recommended to transfer them, but should they need to be reconciled, that can be deferred to finance, and it could, for more information on reconciling those accounts.
Any other additional comments regarding the 2025 Canada Day event or the finances?
I just wanted to say that I thought the music was really, really great for this year. Definitely the investments that were made paid off, and everybody was really enjoying the fact that we had somebody local from Alliston, you know, in and around the area that was performing. And yeah, I thought it was quite wonderful.
Okay, so now we will move to the next section, 6.2, which is the item regarding a candidate volunteer appreciation. The 2025 Canada Day event was a great success with the support of all of our volunteers. Should the committee wish, they may allocate funds for volunteer appreciation. A suggestion would be to allocate additional funds for a volunteer appreciation luncheon. I know, Deputy Clerk, this was something that you had brought up. I don't know if you want to touch base on this before the committee decides. I'm guessing this money, would this come out of the Canada Day budget or the committee budget?
Through you, Chair, that the money would come out of the Canada Day budget, as this is specific to the Canada Day Volunteer Appreciation Lunch. But it is up to the committee's discretion. This was based on feedback received about there not being food at the actual event for the volunteers. It's just a way to appreciate the volunteers, and it could be done in any capacity. It may be, thank you cards or even a lunch. It's to the committee's discretion on how they would like to appreciate that.
Yes, Councillor Cox?
Through the chair, I'd just like to say I do support this idea, but I would like to be exempt, taken out of the appreciation. I don't need any lunch or nothing given to me. Volunteered my time. That's all I needed.
I kind of see. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. I was just going to mention that I think the idea of providing some of the volunteers with a kind of thank you card and giving them the ability to take that lunch whenever they'd like to would probably be a good idea in terms of flexibility for it, since it might be hard to schedule something like a luncheon for all of the volunteers with their different schedules. And similarly, I would like to exempt myself also from any kind of amount that's put toward that. For me, it was an honor to be a part of this committee, and yeah, I'm sure that there's other people out there as well, volunteers, who would exempt themselves from this if they were given the option. So whatever that money is used towards, whether it's another event, the next Canada Day, yeah, it'll be good to put those funds to good use.
I'm kind of just jumping on that same kind of bandwagon. Is again, the purpose was, in my opinion, was to volunteer my time, so I do not expect anything in that return. I do like the idea of a card, like to acknowledge some type of acknowledgement sent out to people to show that we appreciated their time and whatnot. And I'm wondering then if those funds aren't necessarily used for a luncheon per se, could they be carried over to the next Canada Day event? No? Okay.
Through you, Chair, no, they would not be carried over to the next Canada Day event.
Yeah, through the chair, I think that like I know we had a number of student volunteers, so potentially like a food gift card to them wouldn't be too bad from the township as thank you for your volunteering your time. Like I say, as a counselor, I don't expect any of that. The township gives enough, and I volunteer my time for that, for the community for that day. But I think for the students in this growing hard economic times, that an appreciation like a food gift card would probably be really well received.
Through you, Chair, I myself would like to be exempt from that. I volunteered my time as a staff member. Yeah, I just wanted to put that comment in.
I do like the idea of providing like the students with a gift card or something within that card. I'm not opposed to that. It would be something nice, an incentive, because I don't think any of them expected that. I think they were very happy to give back to their community based on talking with them and their families. So.
And they did a really good job. I was out there, I was going from station to station, and the students volunteering did a very good job. You know, the ones running like the kid play game area. There's ones doing painting, I believe. Was it face paint?
No, over at the arts activities.
Arts activities. They did a great job. Like I say, there's a lot of them out there, and I really think we should give back to them, considering we do have budget availability, and it would be very minuscule in the whole grand scheme of things. That could help them, you know, get them a meal or two for their hard work that day.
So do we want, what type of amount would we want to allocate for that? I think we had there was 5 like student or 4 student volunteers, and then there was the one that had reached out through the township.
You chair roughly 20 volunteers in total, including that includes staff.
You know, not discrediting staff at all, but I don't think we'd need to give them a gift card. I think everybody's like, I could speak for them. They're all good people. I know they're not looking for that, right? As nor would we be. I just think we should really focus on the students who might not have a job right now. They're trying to make it in life. Let's give back to them since they gave to us and looked after the children at the event, which was greatly appreciated. And how many students were there?
Through you, Chair, there was roughly 4 students, 3 students in the evening and 1 student in the morning event.
I would think a $50 gift card to each one of them would be suffice considering our available budget still.
$50 is exactly what I was thinking as well. Yeah, that would be, since there's 4 of them, I think that's quite reasonable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know there was a volunteer that had reached out through the township. I'm not sure. I don't think they were a student. I don't know if we're just going to focus on students.
We can throw them on the list. If there's one outside of staff, council, and students, you know, I think they also, they came forward, they put time in. I know they don't expect anything in return, but it's just, you know, it's not a large amount when you're talking going out to have some food and be able to provide them a meal, a good meal for their time served here.
Okay, so if I may suggest, if the committee's looking at just the non-staff in committee members, then it would just be, that would have be the wording. The gift card of $50 for non-staff and committee members, volunteers.
So then there are a few others then.
And that they could be captured within that.
They can be, yeah, because I'd like that all to be non-staff and committee members. So the numbers, I don't have the sheet in front of me anymore. There would be the 3, the 1 student.
So I think you'd have a suitable budget there, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I'm just
you wouldn't
trying.
need necessarily actually allocate an amount.
I don't have to give an amount. I can just say $50 gift cards,
To volunteers who are
non-staff.
non-staff
committee.
and non-committee. Yep.
Yeah.
And non-mayoral?
I'm ex officio, so it's on committee.
So sorry, it would be for
All volunteers who are non-staff
or non.
committee.
on staff or committee member. Okay. So the motion would read that the Community Development Event Committee allocate a $50 gift card for all volunteers who are non-staff or committee members from the committee's annual budget for a volunteer appreciation, a token of volunteer appreciation. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Cox, can I get a seconder, please? Shen, any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Okay. The next item is 6.3, 2026 Canada Day event preliminary discussion. I know we kind of touched on this a little bit as we were going over and reviewing our event. One thing I think would be neat to get some feedback. I'm not sure if communications could help with that, just giving residents an opportunity to see these are some things that we thought that went, like we had shared our ideas and things that they might see that might be beneficial to add but now we have lots of time before the event where that could be, and maybe possibly including in the survey a section about like other events that they might be interested in attending as we go forward to plan things.
I also do think that if the communications could help us with collecting that data, that'd be very beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
The time to make recommendations as well. 26.
In terms of what? Sorry.
Well, this is a touchy subject, but I also had a long discussion with the OPP regarding it. And some people may be offended, but I don't mean to offend them. I don't think dogs should be permitted at a Canada Day festival where there's that many. It's just the OPP wasn't in agreement with it. They because there was, I think, a bite the year before. And most people, like most animals, don't react well to fireworks, right? So I really think it should be, if you can leave your dog at home or have a care for them, I think that's the best place for the animal. I don't think bringing it to a large event is really it's not the suitable place for it, right? And I'll say it, I'll stand by it. It's not a suitable place for it. And I think we should actually put that out there, that there are no dogs allowed at the event. Good ones. Everyone thinks their dog's good. That's the main problem that in today's society. Until something happens, that's my opinion. I believe the OPP feels the same way. Speaking with the officers there, considering like one bite's too many. I'm surprised that we didn't catch this knowing that there was a bite previous year. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's my recommendation. There's like a few of them there, and some were like even, hanging out in the kid area, and they're like trying to control two dogs. And it's like, well, why are they here? Right? Get it. You love your fur babies. I understand. But, unfortunately, the element of risk there is just, I don't think it is worth having them at that event. I'll let you guys.
So my personal opinion, like as a dog owner myself, is I leave my dog at home for events like those because, not only is it the factor of there being a lot of people, there's also kids, there's things that can go wrong, especially with loud fireworks and loud music as well. Anything that can kind of startle them can change their behavior. So that part is true. However, if we're comparing our policies to other municipalities, what are the other municipalities doing, right? Are they allowing on-leash dogs as well? On-leash muzzled dogs? Are they providing like spaces where dogs are allowed? I think those things also need to be put to consideration, because if people from Adjala have to decide between, having their dog at this event or going over to the next town and going to that event where, you know, the policies may be different. That's something for us to consider as well.
Yeah, through the chair, muzzled is also an option too. Like if you're gonna bring them, have them muzzled. But like from what I saw, it's about 5 people, and out of like 1,500 approximately that showed up, if those 5 want to go to a different fireworks, well then, you know, you can have fun there. That's like say my opinion, and I stand by it.
Were these things that, are these ideas just being recorded now, or are we making actual decisions? Because this is a preliminary.
Through you, Chair, this piece is just for discussion, this item on the agenda, but these comments can be taken into consideration. I am drafting a summary report that will go to council, and this could be added to future considerations. I don't believe it needs a recommendation at this time.
No, I think as long as we're kind of keeping a list of ideas and the things that we want to consider, I think that that's important. Through the deputy clerk, do you think the communications could assist us with some type of feedback survey that we could get feedback from the residents?
That would be something that I would have to loop in communications with in terms of feedback survey and the feasibility of that.
The chair, if I might. I think it's helpful if we have some feedback on this. So if the committee has no objections, I think yourself could talk with communications and staff and better understand what would be needed. And if it can be accommodated, then I think that'd be the direction if there's no objection from the committee. Okay. All right. And just also just wanted to comment, I think for 2026, looking at some additional activities for the kids, just kind of adding. So if there's any thoughts there in the next few meetings to brainstorm about those, I think it'd be an opportunity to see if we could find larger and/or more time-consuming activities, so that there are, because I think it's at the end of the day, it's you can only do so much. And I think if there's an opportunity where we can engage more kids and more children at this event, we can do that with more activities. So I think what we have is a good start. And I think if we build on that through next year, we would be in a good spot. And then, like I said earlier, I think the other situations with regards to just parking and layout, again, making sure that we have this so that it flows well, that people are in and out. We were able to get everybody out this year in 45 minutes from the grounds. So I think there's an opportunity here that we can just make sure the layout's always the best it can be, so that we make sure that people are moving in the right direction when they come on site. And I might add more volunteers. If we get that out early and try to get more people involved, and then potentially have the committee look at sectioning off maybe certain roles and responsibilities for that day as well. There is a lot going on that day, and for 1 or 2 people to kind of manage that, if there's an opportunity where we can, you know, the morning activities is managed by someone, and then, you know, food is managed by someone, you know, the parking is managed by someone. I think there's some opportunity there that we can find efficiencies, but also take some burden off of individuals, including staff, as to how these things would work. So I think that's something going forward, is just trying to figure out that. I know, Janice, you'd had a track sheet there that was kind of, you know, looking at events and activities and having people responsible for them. And I think if we can kind of streamline that so that everybody has a role in this, it'd be a bit smoother, I think, to run.
Any other additional comments regarding the 2026 Canada Day event? Seeing none, we'll move to the next item, 6.4, the fall event discussion. If the committee is interested in starting any new fall initiatives, This is the time the committee may discuss these ideas. Councillor Cox?
Well, I don't know if like maybe early fall, but I do think, you know, potentially an outdoor movie would be, you know, well received, whether it's here at the township building. You know, there's lots of those vendors out there that'll come, they'll set up, they'll do the movie, their entirety. It just gets a little cooler in the fall, but you know, if people bring blankets and sweaters, at least the bugs kind of die off.
Mhm.
So it might actually be enjoyable to go out and have a film for the kids, and they can.
Yeah, I think that would be a nice idea that's well received. I know like within New Tecumseh and Alston and Beaton and Tottenham, they have a lot of those and they seem to be well attended. So it'd be nice to.
Yeah, movie and popcorn. Go on and enjoy it. You know, that's why we're here, right? And these community events are predominantly for our youth. And if you can bring joy to them by just bringing a movie out, something different, helps the parents, helps the kids, something to do. I'm sure be within our remaining budget as well.
So in terms of timing, I guess it would have to be like earlier in the fall.
Yeah, I'd probably be thinking like September before we get like you know, October. You never know what's gonna happen that month. But September's like, you know, the new summer extension. It's pretty warm in September.
Do you have like connections in terms of?
I have zero connections, but I
Okay.
I can hustle, find connections. But no, I don't know anybody in the business.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was also just kind of piggybacking on the aspect of our Canada Day morning activities where we had the local artists. We do have a great gazebo out here, and there's potential that we could try to find some local artists as well, and maybe potentially do a music in the park type event. A lot of municipalities do that. Again, being later in the fall, it might be a bit more enjoyable with the temperatures. There's an option there to just research and find a couple artists in the area that you could do to maybe pick a night through the week that's not busy. Maybe it'd have to be Monday or something, because I think it's quite busy around here on Wednesdays and other days. But potentially just pick a date and do back-to-back weeks or something like that, where you could have a couple artists come out and showcase, and it would just be the honorarium to pay them for their time to come out and perform. So that could be another option for the committee to look at. I think looking at the grand scheme of things for the remainder of the year, I think we need to be looking at larger scale potentially for next year if the committee's looking at providing more events. And that's something you can plan for. But if you're looking to plan for something this year, I think we'd have to keep it to very streamlined and straightforward to just put on a couple of events in September, October, just so the committee gets a kind of a footing in this.
I guess the thing is, yeah, it would have to be, because it's going to be a quick turnaround, because we're almost at the end of July here now. That's my only concern.
If I might just go to staff, was there an intention for like fall event discussion? Was there an intention tonight to actually set something in motion as to a recommendation to research, or to actually just provide some direction as to what we could actually do in the next few months? I'm not sure where we could take that.
Through you, Chair, to Mayor Anderson. So if the committee is interested in starting any fall event initiatives, the committee may discuss these ideas and they could put forward a potential motion that the Community Development and Event Committee recommend to council that, and then whatever event you decide be held in fall of 2025. And then that could be presented to council, I guess, in a report for council's consideration on the feasibility of that. But I do advise that there is limited time. So perhaps maybe it's suggested sticking to a single event or whatever is the committee's capacity, because this would be a committee-led initiative.
I guess if we were going to do a movie event, we'd have to know what the costing might be, because if that's the only event we could do with the funding we have, I guess would be the question. So I'm not trying to overstep here, but if the committee wants to do an event, then I would say look at some options and either provide some direction tonight to staff to ask council for what you're thinking, and then there can be additional investigation as to what would cost to do these and if it's feasible to do it.
Quick research estimate here. Companies, this one's in GTA, 5-hour movie, $4.99 Canadian. And that comes with a 25-foot inflatable screen, full HD smart projector with Amazon Fire Stick, high performance sound system, 5-hour rental, quiet and convenient setup, pull down, free delivery within GTA, so we're a little outside GTA. And also has additional add-ons like portable power, hotspot for streaming. So I would think you'd probably like you're under $1,000 for an outdoor movie, right? That would come with. And that's just me doing it quickly here. That's just one company pulling up their webpage.
Yeah, I think we should take a bit of time to look into it, because I'm also seeing different numbers, and I'm seeing some stuff that is definitely a lot more reasonably priced as well. Like I'm seeing ones for $250. These are smaller companies, of course, but they provide the same features. So you get the outdoor inflatable projector and screen and delivery as well. So I think it might be best for us to do some investigating, some research, and see which of these companies are reputable, and then maybe come up with a plan from there.
I think that sounds fair. So would we need to put a recommendation or a motion, sorry?
At this time, a motion isn't necessary because a recommendation isn't going to be made to council. This is just some ideas that are being brainstormed by the committee.
Okay.
And this could be brought forward at like a future committee meeting, perhaps the next meeting in August.
Okay, I think that's fair. If it seems like Shen has been looking into a couple of things, Councillor Cox, and then hopefully then have some numbers, and then we have a better idea if that's something that can be feasible. That works. The next part is 6.5 Rural Ontario Development Program Grant. It's regarding community development. The Rural Ontario Development Program Grant Community Development Guidelines are attached for information. Should the committee wish, a recommendation to council can be provided for staff to submit an application for a project that the township should take on. The Rural Ontario Development Program is accepting applications until September 24th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Just some thoughts when I looked at it. Is there any suggestions that are given by staff or council? As it seems like there's a big focus on like economic development. And does staff and council maybe have any projects in mind that fit one of the 3 streams that are outlined? Or is this supposed to be a whole committee thing?
Through the chair, my quick review, like I said, is predominantly for economic development, but the beautification and wayfinding subject for streets, it says streetscaping and landscaping example projects where it has murals or street furniture. I think in some of our parks, like murals could probably go a long way. You know, you could use the dugout, for example. You got big concrete block there, right? Or any of the pavilions that have a nice wall face to them that you want to put any murals up to maybe recognize the township's history, or even like street furniture or public art, trees. Got any tree projects we want to put in?
I just didn't know if staff or council had specific projects in mind that would be guiding this.
Well, if the committee doesn't have any ideas, you can certainly recommend staff proceed with report to council on recommendations. I think the intention here is for the committee to propose some ideas if you see something that's in the application process. But I would concur with Councillor Cox and Chair Whiteside here that I don't think it fits totally into the realm of this committee's purview as to what you could do for more of a community end scale. It is more of an economic development background on the application process, but it's certainly there's some feasibility there for the committee to choose if there are some ideas. If there's not, then the application, as Madam Deputy Clerk indicated, is September 24th, or sorry, Madam Chair, is due September 24th. So there would be time to come back to the next meeting if there was any further discussion on it.
One of the ways I could see it tying into what we're doing is perhaps through a youth skills initiative or a fund that's developed for that specifically, and we tied into marketing and tourism related things, and we're able to integrate that then to the event planning that we're doing. So they do have a section on here where it talks about some of the diversification and capacity building projects that they're allowing, and some of these things could fall under the purview of a youth skills initiative or development of that sort. And it could be a way of course, like, you know, not only giving back to the youth in the community and helping them to increase their skills, but at the same time also training them to be able to work within this kind of environment, within marketing, tourism, looking at these events, figuring out how to brainstorm, and then actually go through the project management cycle of an event and see it through.
Sorry, through you, Chair. Our next meeting is actually scheduled for September 29th, 2025. So that would fall after this deadline. There isn't an August meeting, just for correction.
Would now be the time to maybe have one in August and not one in September? Because that way we'd be able to get like the outdoor cinema and also the any ideas in for this deadline.
Through you, Chair, to Councillor Cox. a meeting can definitely be scheduled. We can take a look at the calendar and see a date that would work for the committee, and we can pass a motion to schedule an August meeting. We can still even keep the September date if the committee wishes.
Recommend maybe August 18th. Monday. 3 Mondays into August.
Should work.
I put a motion on the floor to change our meeting to not have one in September and to change that to August 18th instead. That's 6 p.m.
Through your chair, yeah, a motion can be put forward.
I think Shen moved it.
Yes, I was trying to give my signal. Yes.
Sorry, it was moved by Shen and seconded by. Perfect. At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m.
Yeah. To call the question, that the motion.
Oh, sorry. What do I need? I'm sorry. What did I need to do? Oh, any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Any new items of business? Seeing none, we'll move to number 8, which is adjournment. I now declare this meeting